Welcome, Trio. Today we're going to go over finding trig functions. If we given one function, we can find the remaining trig functions for the given angle theta. So let's get started. Here we have given cosine theta equals negative 15 over 17, and theta is between pi over 2 and pi. So if we know that, we can find what quadrant we're in first. So pi over 2 means we're here in the second quadrant. This is pi. This is pi over 2. So now we have to remember cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent would be here, hypotenuse would be here. Now we have a negative fraction. The hypotenuse is always positive, so that means the 15 has to be negative. And now we have to find this altitude. To find the altitude, we can use the Pythagorean theorem. So the formula for that, we know a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or a squared equals c squared minus b squared. A equals the square root of c squared minus b squared. So now all we have to do is plug in our numbers. We know a is what we're looking for, and c is given from our triangle. That's going to be 17 squared minus b, which is a negative 15 squared. So a equals square root 17 squared. Actually, let's just do that. That's 289 minus negative 15 squared is 225. Subtracting them, we get square root of 64. A equals 8. Now we have to go back and say, well, if we're in quadrant 2, this is going up, so it's a positive 8. Now that we labeled all the sides of our triangle, we can find our trig functions. Cosine theta given negative 15/17. Sine theta, we can just take it from the triangle, opposite over hypotenuse, that would give us 8/17. Tangent of theta is opposite over adjacent, so that will be equal to negative 8/15. Now we can find the reciprocals of these. The reciprocal of the tangent is the cotangent. Which will equal negative 15/8. The one that corresponds to the sine is cosecant. And that will be 17/8. And finally, the one that corresponds to cosine is secant. And that's going to be negative. And we flip it, that's 17/15. These are our trig functions given the restriction of theta being in quadrant number 2. Thank you. Go Trio.